So what is going on, guys? I am Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another zombies video on the channel, where today we are looking at some new audio logs in Alpha Omega. This time to do with Russman and his involvement with Broken Arrow. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, a like rating would be appreciated. If not, it's totally fine. Thank you guys for watching anyway. Make sure you are subscribed, but let's get into it. Here we go. So, lying around Alpha Omega, you can find 3 different audio logs, all from Russman. He talks about his involvement with Broken Arrow, the ADAM project, the Avogadro, and much more. So I'm going to let you listen to them, and then I'll come back and explain what they mean after.
This is Case Officer Barkley. It's July 6th, 2025. Myself and Project Manager Russman have returned to Camp Edward and...
George, the hell you doing? Get your ass up here. We got ground to cover.
I'm sorry, sir. I just get a bit nervous.
What? The Nova 6 gas? Put that fear in your back pocket. Once the incident in 68 was contained, they powered down the site. As long as we don't flip the master switch, we should be fine.
It's not the gas, sir. It's the robots.
Oh, come on now, Barkley. Robots ain't gonna harm anybody. From what I've been told, as long as we're on site, they remain perfectly still. Don't move an inch. But moment we leave, bang! It's like a robototropolis over here.
And they won't interfere with us?
Long as we mind our business, we'll be fine. Stop staring at him, Barkley. Nobody likes to be stared at.
What about the entity?
The entity? Oh, well, that thing should be coiled up nice and cozy. What's the sensor reading, Barkley? He's still in there?
Sensors say the entity is still secure.
Of course it is. Ain't nothing breaking out of that tin can. Not sure how they managed to get it back in, but we're lucky they did.
They're not worried it might escape?
Worried? Shit, they were damn terrified of the thought. Didn't you see the nuke they rigged up out there?
What?
You better believe they installed a fail-safe measure. That thing would have ever escaped. Kaboom! Up in smoke.
But that could happen right now.
Come on, Barkley, don't be stupid. That thing ain't busting out unless someone's stupid enough to open the damn door. All right, I'm gonna give it a kick. You ready?
You're clear.
Facility transport via pyramid device is now available.
All right, let's just grab a little juice.
Sample now transferred to Hanford site.
What? That's it?
Shoot, we're not sending the entity to Hanford, just grabbing a sample.
What does Hanford want with it?
They've been interested in the entity for some time now. Wanted to pursue further scientific endeavors with it. Whatever that means.
Well, I know I'll be up here once we get out of here.
Hey, I don't suppose you've seen an elemental shard lying around anywhere, have you?
An elemental what now?
A large piece of rock that looks like glass, gives you a headache when you look at it. No? Haven't seen anything like that?
No, sir. Why do you ask?
Probably nothing. I always wondered if Poynell kept a piece for himself. Anywho, what's this I hear about you leaving us for the CDC?
You heard right. I'll be out at the end of the month for a new opening.
Well, we got a long drive back. Can't wait to hear all about it.
So we hear that Russman along with George Barkley have travelled back to Nuketown to transport a sample of the Avogadro to the Hanford site. The date that they arrived here was July the 6th of 2025, which is almost 60 years after the incident at Alpha Omega that caused this facility to close down. It hasn't been worked in or occupied by humans ever since. But like I said, we can see both George and Russman have come back to the facility to collect a sample of the Avogadro who was locked inside of the APD pyramid. They need to teleport a sample of him over to the Hanford site, which is transit. But as we could hear, George is worried about returning back to this place. After the incident in 1966, the facility was closed down and the leaks of Nova 6 that were happening were fixed, and we can see Russman says, don't worry about it, as long as we don't turn the power on, Nova 6 gas shouldn't be a problem whilst we're here. But George says it's not that I'm worried about, it's the robots. Of course, he's talking about the ADAMs. These were advanced robots that Broken Arrow created in order to take care of people. However, we know there was an incident where the robots began to develop emotions. Broken Arrow started to use them in Project Toy Soldier, and one thing led to another, and soon enough, because the robots didn't want to die, with a few other things happening as well, but it led to them turning on the people working here and killing them, which left just the robots to occupy this facility. And we can see that's what George is worried about. But Russman says to him, the robots aren't going to hurt us. As long as we're on site, they don't move an inch, but the moment we leave, it's like a robototropolis. And as long as we mind our own business and don't interfere with them, they won't bother us. And we can even see that in game. There is an Easter egg that you can do where as long as you're watching the robots, they won't do anything. However, as soon as you turn your back, there is an Easter egg where these robots will follow you, which we also know explains why Nuketown is in such good condition. Yes, it is destroyed, a lot of things are on fire, but the grass is still maintained. The bunkers are in a relatively good state. Considering humans haven't lived here for 60 years, you would expect this place to be completely run down, but we can see it isn't, because once no humans are here, the robots take over, they come alive, and it's them that have been maintaining the place, taking care of it over the past 60 years. After they slaughtered everyone here, they basically took it over for themselves, and they've been the caretakers. So we can see Russman is saying, as long as we don't bother them, they won't bother us. But we can see anyway, Barkley and Russman continue to do what they came here for, which was to collect a sample of the entity. Again, we can see George is scared. He starts talking to Russman about how it could escape. He asks him if Broken Arrow had this same fear, and Russman says, of course they did. Didn't you see the nuke they rigged up out there? It was a failsafe measure. If the Avogadro was to ever escape, kaboom, it would be blown up. And we can see that's exactly what happens at the end of Alpha Omega, in the boss battle against the Avogadro, when the Primus and Ultimus crew release him from the APD pyramid in order to get the elemental shard. As soon as the Avogadro escapes, the failsafe activates and the nuke above the Avogadro explodes. However, it doesn't kill him. But anyway, we can see they transfer a sample of the Avogadro over to Hanford. Exactly what Hanford used or needed it for, personally I'm not too sure, because they didn't transfer the Avogadro, just a sample of him. I'm not too sure what the Hanford site wanted or what they used it for, but they did exactly what they came here to do. The Avogadro was left trapped inside of the APD. Russman asks George if he's seen a elemental shard lying about anywhere. He suspects that Purnell might have taken a piece of it for himself, which of course we know he did. And the last thing George says is this is going to be one of his final jobs for Broken Arrow, as he's leaving them to work for the CDC, which finally explains his background. The first time we heard of George Barkley was in Die Rise, where he was sending out a TV broadcast to any of the survivors of the zombie outbreak that happened when the 3 rockets hit Earth from the moon, where he talks about 115 contaminating the air, and that soon enough everyone could turn. He also talked about the symptoms, which we know are paranoia, short-term memory loss, delusion, and psychosis, along with other things.
Attention all on this channel. This is George Barkley, former assistant director of the CDC facility in Druid Hills, Georgia. Prior to the destruction of our headquarters, our research found evidence that contaminants are now infecting the very air we breathe. As such, exposure of some sort appears inevitable for all survivors. Symptoms are variable, but most subjects display short-term memory loss, psychosis, delusion, and paranoia. Short-term memory loss has also been reported, but as of yet, have been unable to confirm this. We advise all individuals to monitor their fellow survivors for signs of the above symptoms, paranoia in particular. Ask yourself, are those closest to you really who you think they are? Are they following their own secret agenda? Are they perhaps plotting against you? The dangers presented by such symptoms cannot be overstated. It was with deep sadness that I myself was forced to euthanize 14 members of my own team. My condolences to their families. I hope this message serves as a warning to all survivors. We must all do whatever it takes to ensure our future as a species. Thank you.
So there we go. As I've said before, there are so many radios in this map, it is very difficult to keep up. I don't want to spam you guys with storyline videos every single day. There are ones that I know have to do with Dr. Monty, Peter McCain, and other characters as well. So stay tuned on the channel, I will be releasing them in due course for you guys. Honestly, I am really enjoying this map. I think at the moment it is my favourite out of all of BO4 Zombies, but of course my list always changes just depending on how I'm feeling. But in my opinion, it is definitely one of the best maps we've had in a while. So there we go. Let me know your thoughts down below. Drop a like rating if you have enjoyed. Make sure you are subscribed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, goodbye.